Yeah, it's two teams that pretty much mirror each other identically, as far as the way they play structurally. I know from an experience standpoint, I think they probably have a couple more guys on the back end that have been together for a while. But other than that, I think it's a mirror image of teams. Last year, obviously we played each other 5 times. It was pretty equal. It'll be probably pretty much the same this week going forward, and our guys know that. We know how they play. They know how we play, and again, we'll have to make sure that we remember that going into Friday night's game.
Obviously, a tough road trip. Is it a nice feeling to be back home?
Yeah, you know what? From being on the road the last couple of weeks and learning how to play on the road and coming back home, we've had success at home, and there's a reason for it. So again, we're excited about being back. Obviously, we have 2 games at home before we get going on the road again. So we know the importance of that. We know the importance of the NCHC, and we know the importance of our early season games here in the first half of the season. So, like I said, it's something that we've talked about.
You talk about building for the end of the season, getting better each week. Last week's effort, even though we didn't get a win, was pretty good. Do you feel you're getting closer to that point?
Yeah, the consistency side of it, absolutely. I think going into Duluth 2 weeks ago and then into Minnesota, a couple environments on the road, playing against good teams. And again, we're playing against good teams this weekend and next weekend. And I think there's a fine line between winning and losing. And part of that is playing a 60-minute game. Part of that is specialty teams. Part of that is managing your game and controlling what you can control. And again, we saw on Saturday night in Minnesota, if you can control what you can control, a lot of times you'll have success. That night particularly we didn't on the scoreboard, but we did in a lot of different areas. And again, we have to make sure that we remain consistent in what we do on what we can control.
Where do you think the team's level of play is right now?
You know what? I think obviously there's a lot of work to do in a lot of different areas to build our game, but I think we're in a good spot right now. I think the biggest thing is trying to manage, from the offensive side of the game, of trying to find secondary scoring other than the one line, and whether that's through 5-on-5 play or power play. Defensively, I think when you look at the goals against going back, I don't think we've given up a whole lot. I know on Friday night in Minnesota we gave up some pretty good opportunities. We're going to have to make sure that we manage that, or play away from the puck. I think that's a staple. We've had success last year, and I think it was a big reason why we won, is our play away from the puck, and we got to make sure that we remember to work on that side of it. But I think on the scoring side, we got to make sure that we try to work on the daily things of trying to make everybody else have a chipping in on offensively.
Do you guys take much from the scouting of the 6 games last year? I know they lost Moore and they lost Heinen, and they have the Finnish kid in there now, and it seems like there are a lot of different parts in their key players.
Yeah, you know what? They haven't changed about the way they play. They track very hard. They play hard away from the puck like we do. They're a very disciplined team as far as trying to make you turn pucks over. They have good sticks. They're a rush mentality team. You look at their back end players. Each one of those guys gets up the ice on the rush. So again, we got to make sure that we're conscious that we want to score in the offensive zone, but we got to make sure that we have a mindset of getting back up the ice, so we don't get beat up the ice, because they are a rush first team. And again, they generate a lot of their offense there. So again, they haven't changed the consistency of their team on the way they play. It's just that we have to make sure that we have a mentality of beating them in those areas.
Are there any specific reasons you guys have been successful at home the last several years here?
Well, I first of all, I think it's the environment that we're in. I mean, the culture that we have, tends to have success with a crowd and with a loyal fan base that supports each and every night. So I think that's the first thing. Second thing is it's a special place to play in the Ralph. Like I said, ever since the place was built, it seemed like it's home ice advantage, and our guys realize that. So I think it's about the the obligation on making sure you work your tail off every night in your home rink and not getting outworked. And again, I think that kind of leads to the side of success. And again, we'll have to do that on Friday night right away.
Tucker Pullman, how's he been this week?
Good. Yep, he's been good. He's been partaking in practices, and he'll be playing this weekend. So, yep, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.